Thank you for bringing this up. This is really important. I'm getting ready to work out, but this I had to hone in on before doing anything else. When we're talking about relationships and healthy relationships, we have to make the presupposition that the people entering the relationships have a certain amount of mental, psychological, and emotional health and or intelligence. There are pathological outliers, or there are pathological thinking that makes themselves just, let me just try to put this simply. Some people are not fit for relationships. The person that you're talking about is an abusive person. There's some people out there who are not working on personal development. They are not interested in being the best person that they can be. They're not interested in treating you well. They don't have a healthy sense of self, and thus they're out here wreaking havoc. So, yeah, there are some people who are out there who will see that you are a better catch than they are, and they will try to bring you down to their level. There is nothing that you can do to make this person an acceptable mate. Nothing, because this person hasn't done the internal work to make sure that they are a decent and acceptable human being. Let's start with that. So, yeah, there will be some people out there who will be like, let me take her down a peg. And there will be stuff on the flip side. There's a woman on my YouTube page who's talking about how she feels that her husband is a better catch than she is, and that she has to reach up to try to gain and keep his affections. Number one, we do not know the quality of relationships that people are speaking about when they comment online. The type of person who is trying to take another human being down a peg and abuse them because they're not feeling good about themselves on the inside, what would the quality of the relationship of a person like that be to begin with? It's not, there's nothing you can do to make an unhealthy minded person a healthy minded partner. So find a person who is working on themselves, who believes in personal development, is looking for ways that they can improve, and they're in relationship with you. Men are going to naturally listen. Women, and then listen, we can't even talk about all women, but by and large, a woman who has developed herself is going to make a man elevate. Listen, we are the keepers of the womb. We are the portal through which life comes. So we have to be more selective. Like, biological success for us is the best partner for our one egg. So we have to make men qualify themselves as mates. Please listen. If you are qualifying a deeply insecure man and he is a feasible mate, or you feel that he's a feasible mate for you, there's most likely some brokenness on the inside of you that made that person, that made you miss the telltale signs of brokenness in this person. Either you were raised with brokenness where your parents were taking you down a peg, mother or father, or you'd been in early adopted relationships in which these people were bringing you down a notch, so that when these people started quote unquote joking, telling you to jokingly shut the F up or calling you a B. This is why in none of my relationships is anyone calling me a B, male or female, old or young, nobody. Because it begins to snowball from there. First it's a joke. Oh, then it's said in anger. Oh, and then next thing you know, they're throwing things down and breaking them. Then the next thing you know, they're punching the wall behind you. And then those punches start getting a little bit closer and closer. So we got to nip it in the bud very early on. So when you see that a person is trying to, and it's take you down a notch, and especially with all of this manosphere red pill teaching that's going on out there, where they are teaching men to neg you, talk about your hair, your clothes, your makeup, your body, trying to make you feel self-conscious. Why? because they want to make sure that they have unfettered access to you at a lowered level of esteem. What do you do with that? You make sure that you nip it in the bud the very first time that you see it and hear it. He needs to raise up. And that means in more than just, not just financially. We talked about Think and Grow Rich in the last video. Behavior wise, ethically, morally, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. He needs to be able to know that he must be on par or better. But you know what par is, right? Like if you think about golf, people will talk about their score and their par. Par means baseline. That's he's meeting you where you are. So if he's on par, he's meeting you where you are. So if the man that you're choosing is on par, he's met you where you are. And if he's meeting you in a place where he is denigrating you verbally, what is it that you're saying to yourself? How are you speaking to yourself so that when you see this reflected from the outside onto you, are you recognizing the self-denigration? Are you recognizing the verbal abuse? Because the verbal abuse starts inside of your head and then all of a sudden it's being spoken from the outside in. No, 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 no. Start with the inside, with how you speak to yourself. You're beautiful, queen. You are lovely. Look at your body. I love this body that has carried me. That has carried me through the highs and the lows, the peaks and the valleys. Thank you. Thank you for holding me, for keeping me sound, for keeping me in sickness and in health, for metabolizing those foods, for holding my brain, for having the blood and the fluids and the hormones and all of those things. Thank you for the legs that move me, the feet that hold me, the arms that lift me, others, my babies. Thank you. How do you speak to yourself? That's where we got to start and begin, because in order for a level of conversation to be foreign to you, it must be something that you are not used to. But when somebody from the outside starts calling you ugly, but that has been reverberating in your mind anyway, oh, he's confirming something that you have already thought. But when you call yourself beautiful, if anybody has ever noticed when I see myself on camera, how do I speak about myself when I see older versions of myself? Even if when it was yesterday, 10 years ago, well, you can't see future versions of yourself in video, but how do I speak to myself? I'm always uplifting, whether I am chubbier or when I was thinner, when I was happy or sad, or when I was lifted or when I was down low. How do I speak about myself? I always speak about myself in uplifting terms. How do you speak about yourself? So that when it's reflected from the outside in, what does it feel like? Does it feel normal? Is it foreign? Listen, there's a lot that we can talk about this, but the video's getting long. So thank you for that comment. I appreciate it. And you all can keep the comments coming. Thank you. Today's my day off from school. I'm trying to edit a skit today, but I need to work out first before I get into the happenings of the day. I'm Tanya TKO. I'm a self-love specialist, and I help you learn how to love yourselves. I have a self-love workbook that I wrote behind there that many people that listen, it changed my life. And there's a reason why, because, I wish I could talk forever and ever. Affirmations and self-talk, lifting yourself, all of the greats minds knows it. That you don't stand in front of the fireplace and say, give me heat, and then I'll put in wood. No, it starts with the things that you start saying to yourself. You speak those powerful words, and the power meets you. Meets you where it is that you are. Comment below.